Hello everybody, this is Shirley with So To We Begin Embroidery. Thank you for stopping by. Today I'm going to do a little demo on how I went about doing my design going around my collar or my edge of my shirt. That seems to be a new trend that's going around. There's been a few videos out there that I've seen doing it. A couple of them I saw that were actually done on a multi-needle machine, and about three or so I saw on a single needle machine. And today I wanted to do my take on how I did it on my multi-needle machine. And the reason why I thought it would be important is because the multi-needle machine that I saw, one of them was done where they used a laser beam so they could directly position it. The other one was done where it had been digitized in the Wilcom Hatch digitizing program, where it was digitized to go seamlessly and beautifully on this collar here, on the neckline, I'm sorry. But I don't have either one of those, so I thought I would just see how I can do it to make it work. Now, my Brother machine, my PR1055X, does have a camera that acts like a laser, I guess, that process. So I'm going to do that and show you how that works. So that's how I'm going to do it. And so we'll get started on working on my project. I will be using the Embrilliance software to get it all set up to go onto my machine. And I will show you step by step my process in the software, as well as my process with setting up the shirt, and then the process of getting it aligned on my machine. So without further ado, we'll get started, and hopefully this will be something that you will try yourself at home on your own machine. So what you are looking at now is my screen where I have completed my design that I'm going to put on my shirt. So this has already been completed. I've already did everything I needed to do to get it on the machine to stitch out. So what I'm going to do now is to close this out and just show you exactly how I did it, and hopefully I can do it without any mistakes. So let me go into File and bring in a new page. So I have my hoop here, and the hoop size that I'm currently using right now is, let me get it hopefully back up the whole thing, because I wanted it to be where you can see the entire hoop. Okay. So I'm using the 12 by 8 by 12 mighty hoop. And in order to get your hoop size, you go into this icon here, which is your preference icon. And you can select from here what size hoop that you want. And as I stated, I have the 8 by 12. Once you select it, make sure it's normal is selected here, and then apply here. Then you hit OK. Then that's how you will set up your hoop size. Okay, so I've gone into File and I did the new. So the next thing would be to bring down my alphabet. And you select the A icon and it brings up the ABCs. When you see this, then you can go over to your object panel, and with this particular line here where it says text, you can type in whatever text that you want. So let me type in, what should I type in? I typed in my name earlier and it wasn't really long enough to see a true curve. So I'm going to think of a word that I want to do. Let's do Embrilliance since it's long enough. EMBRILLIANCE. Think that's how you spell it. And then I hit enter, And as you can see, the word Embrilliance comes up here. Now, when you select it, you'll see all of these little green um, squares here. These allow you to move a letter. You can move them around and everything. That way you can place them anywhere you want to. But I just wanted to show you that. Also, you have a handle here where you can rotate, and I rotated a word. So I'm going to go up here, and this is your undo. So I'm going to undo everything that I just did a few minutes ago to get it back the way it was initially with Embrilliance. Now over here, if you look here, right here, it is the block font. That's this font here. That's your block font. I don't want that font. What I'm going to do is go down and select the font that I use for the shirt that I currently have on. And excuse me if I get my head in the way for a second, because I'm sitting kind of far away from my screen and my eyes aren't that good, so I have to lean in a little bit to see what the font actually is. And I'm looking for Creative Applique Cursive Font, and I'm doing size 0.3, and that's it right there. And there is Embrilliance. So let me pull on one of the handles just to make it bigger so you can see it. There is Embrilliance, and it's in the cursive font, and there are the handles again. So what do you do next? Well, since I have it all selected and everything, I'm going to go to this circle here, and that is create a circle with your font. So if you use the slider, well, that's a slant. That's not what I want. If you use your slider, you can do the curvature. And the more that you use the slider, you can go in and out with spacing it. And this is spacing the letters, and this would be spacing words if you had more than one word up there. So you can make the letters further apart or closer together. It's up to you. Now, with this handle, let me see if I can get it to be select right here would be place on bottom. If you check that, then instead of the curve going down, the curve will go up like that. So the curve is up. Now what do I want to do? I want to make this more pronounced. So I will rotate it, and I have to select my radius. This line right here is radius, and this radius here is 5. Now the radius on my shirt is a 4, but I'm going to make this radius more pronounced by making it smaller. And you see how the curvature has gotten greater? That's how you make that curve go up the way you want it. And you can rotate it by using the handle as much as you want to. Now, I think this might be a little small, so let me go and pick a larger size. There we go. That gives you a little bit more example of how we can be more pronounced with the curvature. Now I can put the radius back to, let's see if we can get it back at a 4, where it would be more in line with what I need for my shirt. So you can see how that went up like that. And if you want it to be even more in going around that neckline, then you can use your handles right here, your rotating handle, and that's right here. That's the little blue handle, and when you hover over it, you'll see a semicircle that lets you know you can rotate it up or down or whatever. Now you can also resize it. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. It's just up to you how much or what you need it to be. Right now it is at 4 3/4 inch in length and 2 7/16 in height. And that's pretty much how you do it. Now that you have your name or your phrase or whatever, then I like to go here where this looks like a little cross, and if you select that, then you're recentering your design, and you want it to always be centered before you save it on your USB stick to make sure that when you put it into the machine, it's going to be in the right position. So the next thing you can do or should do is to print it out and check and see how that's going to look on your shirt. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think I like this radiance just for an example. I like it pretty good to go around my neck. I like the size. I like everything that I have it set up at this moment. As you can see, I'm not going to use this. This is just for demo. I already have mine cut out and everything ready to go, so I'm not even going to save it. And so I'm going to go into File, and I'm going to go into Print Preview. Now this is what it looks like when you print it out. You have your crosshair, and it prints out the size that is going to stitch out. Now what you should do once you print it out is to go ahead and cut it out, top and bottom, and then place it on your shirt where you want it to be. There are some measurements that you need to do on your shirt as well to have an idea as to, again, what your radius is. And your radius is the length from the top of your shirt to the bottom of that neckline. The top of the neckline to the bottom of the neckline, that distance is called the radius. And then you need to measure from seam to seam on your shoulder to determine the length that you can put this on. And you don't want the whole length. Mine was like 7.5 for a large shirt, and I think my radius was 3.5, but I just went on and put it at 4, and that's what I did. So this would be what I would print out, cut out, and then place it against my shirt so I would know exactly how it's going to look. So that's pretty much the way to do it in Embrilliance to get it to be able to stitch out in a curve similar to what I've already done. So hopefully that's understandable to you. It's pretty simple. It took me a minute to figure it out because, as I said, I looked at several different videos and everybody did it different. It's so funny. Everybody did it different. All of the experts had their own way of doing it and how they wanted to do it and how they wanted to teach it as to how it should be done. And so struggling through all of those different videos, I finally figured out a way to do it for myself that made sense. And it seems to be working. At least it did work because I was able to stitch out the shirt that I have on. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of Embrilliance, but let me go back and show you what I did finally pick out, and that was this, which is my logo. Sew to sew, stitches and things. That's what I'm stitching out on my shirt, and I was able to separate the different words, and I moved the letters a little close together because I wanted to make sure that it was within the parameters that I needed to be in. And the other thing you can see right here, that is a basting box. Let me show you how to get the basting box. So let me go back here to oops, well, it switched on me. But anyway, untitled, here's the basting box right here. And my untitled went away. Silly me. I wasn't thinking, it wasn't saved, so it went away. My Embrilliance went away, and this came, but it is what it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, Embrilliance. What I forgot to show you was you need to do your printout first. And once you get your printout done, then you can go back and do a basting box around for stability. And the purpose for that is because you're stitching so close to the neckline that part of your top shirt is not really going to be caught by your hoop, especially if you're doing it on a multi-needle machine. You can take the risk to pin it if you want to, which is possible, or you can base it. And so I decided to base mine based upon some videos that I saw. So once you've already saved it, once you've already printed it out, and before you save it, you can go up into Utilities, which is here. And in Utilities, after you click that, then you can go down here where it says Base Design. And then you click Yes. And there's your basting box. Now, as you can see, the basting stitches are right up on the word. You don't want that. So a way of getting around that is to hold down your shift key. Well, select it, hold down the shift key, and then grab one of the handles and pull it out, and then you're going to get some space between. As you can see now, I have space, so it's not touching. So I have space around here, so when it stitches out, when my base stitches out first, and then I go back to stitch out the words, they're not going to be on top of the base, so because you have space. So hopefully that's understandable. And then once you have that, then you can go ahead up into, you can save it to your USB stick and save it as a save as stitch and working file, and that way you can manipulate it again if you want to. And be sure you might want to rename it if you want to use it and go through it again. Add something cute to it, like I did with my shirt that I currently have on. I removed the dot over the eye and changed it to a heart. And I can show you how to do that since I have it up and I brought it up. What you do, you go into your, let me see, stitching tool. And over here in the corner, you have some lassos. You have a rectangular lasso, and then you have an irregular or freehand lasso that you can select. Now, if I select the rectangular, which I did, then I come down here and make a box over that, the dot over the eye, and then left click to delete it, and there it is. It's gone. And so since I've removed that, then I went up into my merge design, and you can select any one of these. I selected the butterfly, but let's do the heart on this one. So here's your big heart, and again you grab your handle and you can put it down as small as it'll go, and then just grab it and move it in the place of the dot, and there you have a cute little heart over the eye. And other things that you can do is make sure that your stitches are going to meet the way you want them to meet. You can maneuver and move all of these, which I wasn't planning on doing, but since I'm up here showing you how to do it and they need to be fixed, I'll just show you the process. And so I'm moving all of my, got to make sure you get the green handles, and you can move all of your letterings and get them the way you want it. This one needs to be moved again. And then I'm moving move the end. Make sure you get the block, and then this is my C, and then lastly will be my E. And as you can see, I got it the way I want it. Now you see it's outside of the block. I'm not going to worry with that, because if I was doing this to actually stitch out, I would have to make the block, the basting block larger, or make this smaller, either one. And I would, let me see, just make it small and bring it back inside. That probably would be the easiest thing to do. Go up here and hit my cross to, if I move it, then I got to move the heart. Let's move it. And I did some maneuvering with this, and so that dot came back. Therefore, I would have to go up in here, because I didn't save it, and get the lasso, delete it, then put the heart. Oops. Let me undo that. Okay. I'm trying to select my heart so I can move it. Oh, I got to come out of there. That's what I have to do. I have to come out of here. Now I can select my heart and put it over here again. And I can do the same thing for here. Go back in here to the where the lasso is, and let me see what this is called. This is called your stitch editing mode. Go in here, get the lasso, go around here and delete it. Now I can, if I can remember how to, I think I need to make a copy. Go back into edit, go here, hit copy, and see, did I get 2 of them? Okay, maybe I need to hit copy now. And copy. Nope, that's not it. I did it before. I got to remember what I did to get 2 of them. Let me see, utility, because I play around with, I play around with my thing a lot. Maybe it's instant repeat. Okay, and did that do it? Nope, that didn't do it. I can't remember what I did. I did something and I was able to make 2 of them. And okay, let me see if I can put it here and paste it. Yep, there it is. There we have it. So I did copy it. And there you have it. You have your 2 hearts. Now, the other thing that I did get kind of creative, I tilted this heart a little bit to make sure that it's slanted with my letter. And there you have it. Embrilliance with the hearts as the dots over your eye. So that's just a little extra lesson that I threw in there that I wasn't planning on doing, but since I have you looking, I decided to go ahead and show you that. So we're going to go ahead and get out of Embrilliance and go to looking at the shirt and show you how I measured it, and then we're going to go ahead and put it on the machine and get ready to stitch it out. So the easiest thing, this part for me, the software was the hardest. The second hardest part is to make sure that when I hoop it, it's going to be taut enough to put on the machine where it's going to get the stability that it needs in order to stitch correctly. So if any of that makes sense to you, that's the process. So hopefully you learned a little extra something about Embrilliance. And I just have to let you know that play with it. There are videos on YouTube that they have, like the Embrilliance YouTube, and there's a lady, can't remember her name right now, Lisa somebody I believe it is, that does a lot of the tutorials, and she goes over a lot of things about how to do things in Embrilliance. She talks about some of the shortcuts, and it's just a lot of stuff that you can learn. And then just go into your software and just start playing around with it to see what you can do and what you can come up with. So that's just how I tend to do things. So I didn't do anything fancy like that with this because of the fact that it's a thicker sew out, stitches are thicker, and the fact that it's a lot of it, and I didn't want to complicate things any more than what it was. So the next thing we're going to do is go over here to my cutting board, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with my shirt. Okay, now I have my shirt on my cutting board, and as you can see, I have the middle line here so I can tell where the middle of my shirt is. And I have my design that I want to stitch on there placed where I want it. And I have it pinned and taped and everything just so it won't move while I'm hooping. But this is how I've chosen to do it, and it seems to work. Now, as I was mentioning about the measurement, you just go from the top of this seam here, I can't think of the collar or the band around your neck, and from here to here is 4 inches on this particular shirt, and from the end of here, the seam, to the end of the seam here, it appears to be about 7.5. So that gives you the measurement that you need. And like I said, from top to bottom is your radius, and then this would be your length pertaining to what you're going to do with your design. So I have the center of my design. I printed it out, and this is the center of the design, and I placed it where I wanted it. Now I do have a crosshair underneath this because once I put it on the machine, this is going to come off. So I need to have a reference of where everything is. So I have marked it. So I didn't tell you all of the materials that you need, but it's obvious. Of course you need your shirt, of course you need some type of measuring tool, a ruler, then you need a marker, which I have a marker that a marker where it comes off with water. So I have my marker, and I also have my little water spray bottle that I use to get rid of the mark once I'm done with all of that. And then of course you're going to need your stabilizer. Now I use the tear away no-show mesh, but on this particular project I'm also backing it up with some tear away stabilizer. And I just want to make sure that it's not going to have the movement, because once I hoop it and the hoop is up on this part, there's not enough stability because of course it's under here. So you don't have that back part, you just have air here, and the stabilizer will be there under here and then up in this area with nothing to hold it. So when they do it on the single needle machine, they're able to stabilize it much better. But when you have it on your multi-needle machine, because it has to go through that arm, then you don't have that stability. that you would. So you have to come up with something that you can do to make it a little bit more stable when you're going to stitch it. So then I'm going to go ahead and hoop it and then take it to the machine and show you how to use the camera magnifying glass that actually acts like a laser, and show you that so we can get started. So you can see I have my shirt hooped and it's showing up here, and this is your, okay, I traced it with the camera and now I have it in here, and there it is. And this is actually how it's going to stitch. Now it's not positioned yet, so since I'm in the magnifying glass, I can use my arrows, and I put it on fast so I can take it down and then move it over this way until I find my marking. And here you're seeing the marking. So that's the center. What's missing? Okay, there we go. I forgot to put my crosshair. This one is for your crosshair. This is your magnifying glass. So I can slow it down again because I'm close to my crosshair, and I want to put it exactly where that is. Now that's the marking. But again, to me, and I had this issue before, it looks like it's way too far from the neckline. So I'm going to move that neckline up. And that's as far as it's going to go. So now I have my basting stitch done, which is interesting because usually you can put it in a different color. But let's go ahead and get started on the lettering. And I'm hoping that this is going to be close enough to the neckline that I wanted it to be. So we shall see how that's going to be. You can't have it too close because you got to make allow for the curvature that is going to go from here up this way, and this is the center here. It's marked, so I'm going to let this stitch out, and we will see what the final results are. And like I said, I'm hoping it's going to be close enough to the neckline here where it's going to look cute, but that's kind of difficult to do when you're kind of free-flowing with this. But we shall see how it's going to turn out. This is the finished product. I just took it off the machine. I'm going to clean it up and then I'll put it on. Well, here we are. This is the result of my project. I think it came out pretty well. I didn't get it as close to the neckline as I wanted, but the other shirt that I had on that had springtime is approximately the same way. And if I remember correctly, the videos that I watched pretty much had their design not up close to the collar. It's a little difficult to get that to work on the machine, especially the way it has to be hooped, but I'm happy with the results. I did it, and I will be wearing my shirt proudly, so I hope everybody likes this project and that they will give it a try. There are a few challenges that are involved in this, but it isn't something that you can't do. As a beginner, you certainly can. If you're experienced, then it's not a big issue to you. And like I said, some people were able to use software like Welcome Hatch to actually take a picture of your garment and then place it exactly where you want it, measurement and everything, which would have been wonderful if I knew how to do that. And then another person actually had a laser, so she could pinpoint exactly where it was going to stitch, and she also was able to take a picture and put it into her machine and do the laser. So for a person that has a machine like mine, the PR1055, you can't do that. But if you use the little machine magnifier icon that does take a picture pretty much of your garment, and you hit the cross mark icon that's in there, you can center it and make sure that your design is going to be where you want it, the way I showed it. So that's how I did it. So hopefully you guys will try this project yourself and you'll be successful. And that's pretty much all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this project, that you would be motivated to try it yourself and become part of the latest trend. Thank you for watching.